right, so we just finished getting ready to start our patina. So I have cut my metal pieces out, I've filed, and then I filed some more, and I have sanded them, okay? And I've sanded them all the way to the 600 grit, and I made sure that they were nice and clean, okay? So now I'm ready for the patina. So I'm gonna be starting with the ammonia patina, the salt and ammonia. So I'm gonna set aside the pieces I don't need. These are my 2 pieces that are gonna have the patina on them. And remember I told you that you should make sure they're really clean and they need to be made out of copper, so that orange colored metal. Okay, so I have sanded these to the 600 grit. I'm gonna have all my materials set up next to me, okay? Have everything ready. I'm gonna start by making sure that I'm wearing my mask. It's especially important in this situation because we are going to be working with ammonia. So that's the next thing I'm gonna make sure I have near me. I have my ammonia. I'm gonna need some salt. I'm gonna need a water bottle, a water spray bottle. I'm gonna need a little container, and then I'm gonna need some paper towel. Okay, so my pieces are all ready. They have been filed really well and they have been sanded to 600 grit. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of paper towel and I'm going to rip it and I'm going to fold it and put it in the bottom of my container. Now, when it comes to the container, I want to make sure that my pieces are going to fit in there. First, they should fit. Second, they should fit and not overlap. So if my pieces were bigger and they overlapped in here, I might need 2 separate containers. We don't want any overlapping, but my pieces will fit in there just fine. I'm gonna take that piece of paper towel, I'm gonna fold it, and I'm gonna set it in the bottom of this jar here. And that is gonna act, this paper towel is gonna act like a sponge that's gonna hold the ammonia for us. So that's all set up. I'm gonna put that off to the side. The next thing I need to do is I need to prep my metal. Okay, I'm gonna take that water bottle and I'm gonna spritz them. And I want little droplets of water onto my pieces. Now, if I get too much water on there and it pools up a lot, I'm gonna dab it off. I don't want a ton of water pooled up. I kind of want just little spritzes, little dots on there. Okay, that looks pretty good. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of salt. I'm gonna put it in my hand. If it comes out, okay. And I'm gonna sprinkle the salt and it's gonna stick onto those pieces, onto those little droplets of water. Now, what's gonna happen here, I'm gonna put the extra salt back in the container. There's no need to waste. What's gonna happen is the salt attracts water and liquid. So wherever it's pooled up, the ammonia doesn't react. So it kind of acts as a resist, okay? And that's what gives it this splotchy look that you'll see that is gonna happen. Okay, so these pieces are all set up. Now what I need to do is I need to put my mask on. Okay, I'm gonna put my mask on. And what I need to do is I'm gonna take my little container, I'm gonna set these off to the side, take my little container, and remember I told you that that paper towel is gonna act like my sponge. It's gonna hold the ammonia in there. Now, something you should know is the ammonia fumes are what's going to react with the metal, not the liquid. So I just need a tiny little bit of liquid. The fumes are what's going to make that chemical reaction happen on my metal. So I'm gonna open it up. And again, I'm just putting a little bit in there, okay? You can see there's not a ton. I didn't even fully fill that paper towel yet. Put a little bit more. If for some reason I have too much in there and it's starting to pool up, I'm just gonna take another piece of paper towel and I'm gonna put that in there so it can pick up some of that liquid. And remember, I want to do this whole process and have everything set up as fast as I can because I don't want those ammonia fumes out any longer than I need to. So I put my paper towel in there, I started pouring it, and then I made sure to put the lid on as soon as I was done. I don't want that ammonia to be open any longer than necessary. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be putting my pieces into here. Now, sometimes it's helpful to take tweezers to set them in there depending on the size of your pieces. But I am ready and I want to make sure that I'm setting them in there right side up. So right side up right now is where the salt is on top. Okay. But if I had pieces that were a little more specific, I want to make sure that the mirrored side, I'm going to put the lid on right away. I want to make sure that the mirror side is up. So for example, when you look at these 2 pieces, They look very similar on both sides. They look almost symmetrical, but they're not, okay? Now, normally when you wear earrings, you wear them with the mirrored side on the, they're mirrored on each side, okay? So for example, this area right here has this bigger opening. I'm gonna put that opening on the inside so they're facing each other, okay? So that means when I put them in here, I wanna put them that way, okay? I don't want it to be the opposite. I'm gonna put this over in the soldering stations. Then I'm gonna go clean up my area, make sure there's no salt left, make sure I get rid of all the paper towels, and I'm gonna make sure I wash my hands, okay? This should sit for about 24 hours. After 24 hours, I am going to open it up. I'm going to flood this container with some cold water. Then I'm gonna take my pieces out, rub any of the extra salt off, and then I'm gonna clean everything. This container then can be reused, and I will throw everything else away, and I have my metal pieces. And then we'll talk about finishing. All right, for the second patina, I'm going to be doing it on this pair of earrings. I'm going to have them set up here. I'm going to make sure they're set up as mirrored images. So this is them together, both facing the same way. I'm going to set it mirrored here. And with this one, this is a really easy process. You're going to grab one of these Folgers containers, and inside of them, you'll see there is sawdust. And this sawdust has been saturated with vinegar. Okay, so there's vinegar already in there for you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that my pieces are filed really well. I'm also gonna make sure they're freshly sanded. Anytime we do any sort of chemical surface treatment to these, we wanna make sure that they're really nice and clean. So if I had sanded these yesterday, I would go back today and maybe do a fresh sanding just to make sure they're really nice and clean, okay? So mine are ready. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the lid off, and I'm gonna take some sawdust in here, and I'm gonna put some on my finger, okay? And I'm gonna lightly dab little pieces of this sawdust onto my piece. I don't want any really big chunks because that won't patina correctly if I do. So if you get too many big chunks on there, just, brush them off. Okay, this one looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna put one more piece over here. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do, and you're gonna see here, I'm just gonna set it on top. So it's just setting right on top in there. I'm gonna take the next piece, and I'm gonna make sure it's the mirrored image, and I'm gonna do the same thing. So I wanna do similar amounts on both. They are not gonna be exact replicas because, I'm just dabbing this sawdust on here. So it's not gonna be exact replicas, but I want it to have a similar amount so that they have some similarities to them. Okay, and I'm done with this one. Again, I'm just gonna set it on top. I'm gonna close the lid. So this one takes a little bit longer than the other patina. So this one takes about 2 or more days. So I'm gonna set it in here. I'm gonna go put it in the solder stations, and then I can come back and check on it. Now, if you like how it looks at 2 days, you can take it out and clean it. If you don't, you can keep it in there a little bit longer. So once you think this looks good, you're gonna take them out. You're gonna rinse them off in the sink. I'm gonna rub all the sawdust off, but I'm gonna be really gentle about it. I don't wanna take the patina off, okay? The container with the sawdust can stay. We can use that again. So you'll just take your pieces out. Once you do that, you're gonna clean them off. Like I said, rub off the sawdust, but not too hard. I'm gonna set it to dry, and then we'll seal it.
Hello, hello. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I hope that you're missing me, 'cause it makes me feel young. Hello, hello. Last time that I saw your face was recess in 2nd grade.